Hey, Roger.
Hello, Kevin.
Are you recording this?
How could you tell?
Oh, I got an alert. uh,
We'll probably chop off the first part here.
yeah, it looks like a HomePod.
Right again.
What's with the focus is weird. It's like when you moved your hands before, things were going in and out of focus.
That's
Yeah.
the blurred background feature in Zoom.
Ah, okay. Well, I should go get some coffee or something also. I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll be here. Welcome, Susan. Good evening, Bob.
Good evening, Roger, Susan, and Kevin's chair.
I have a pair of the original HomePods that I bought reconditioned from Apple. So I haven't bought the new, less expensive ones.
Well, you don't need them.
No, they're very cute, but I don't need them. You're right. I have mine in two places, my bedroom and the family room.
That's good. Yeah, I've got two. I bought them from OWC when they were like $200.
Ah. I have one attached. It plays with my Apple TV. So I'm getting my Apple TV sounds out of the HomePod. So I feel good about that.
Yeah, that should give you much better audio than your TV does.
Yes, definitely.
And the lady of the hour, Gretchen Lima, has joined us.
Oh,
You're muted, Gretchen.
I can't see your face, Roger. Where is it? All I see is a coffee cup.
That's right.
Is that intentional?
Yes.
I'm still in Hawaii.
Yeah.
That's not a shame.
Some of us know where you really are.
At Carrabba's Italian Grill, everything just tastes better when you enjoy it together.
I'm assuming you can see the title screen. Is that correct?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Enhanced sauteed pastas. Keep
I'm
going.
waiting for Melissa.
While toasting friends with our blackberry sangria. Share a
She's around. I just got a text from her.
Okay.
Or celebrate a coworker's promotion over Prosecco. Come together at Carrabba's or order online for a flavorful meal wherever you are.
So I think Kevin is also an owner of an iPod. And here he is. Hello, Kevin.
Hello, I'm an owner of a what?
You have a HomePod, is that correct?
I have a HomePod Mini, a thermostat that acts as the HomePod, and 8, 9 or so Sonos systems.
Wow.
Every room is wired in the house for sound and you name it. I'm like the king of automation here. I was bored.
Hello, Susan. Welcome.
Mm.
Hello, Susan.
Hi.
Hello.
That looks like that's your HomePod, Roger.
It is.
Has the cat been getting at it, or what's?
Roger, is the power cord on those things removable or are they hardwired? Hardwired. That's a
Okay.
dumb idea. But
Boy, that's a big home pod.
Yeah,
And
That's
it's
the original.
heavy.
Mine's tiny.
We're looking at one of Roger's mini cameras that seems to have a little bit of a problem focusing.
No, that's background blur.
Yeah, but sometimes it goes, sometimes your shirt's okay now. You mean bokeh
Yes.
or bouquet?
I'm gonna try that, actually. I'll put blur on. Okay.
We could turn on camera 3.
adjustments, let's see.
There's camera 3.
Oh, the overhead shot.
That's the
What this
Inspecto
one's-
Cam. And the Inaco has the Crane Cam 3000. I have the Inspecto Cam.
Weird effects.
Kevin, either you or I have been doing mushrooms or something.
Oh, do you remember a program for when, God, what was the camera that Apple came out with, that round thing?
The eyesight.
The eyesight. When the eyesight came out, Ecamm came out with a program called eyeglasses. And believe it or not, it still works, and it works in Zoom and really enhances Zoom. The video. One of the things that you could do is you could zoom in and zoom out much further than the regular camera does.
Hmm.
And you could rotate things and mirror them or.
I have a copy of it somewhere.
Yeah, I have a
it's-
copy of it somewhere too.
Yeah, I had a couple of copies and. Yeah, I don't think they list it on their website anymore, but it works great.
I think it's still there.
Huh.
I think their focus now is more on Facebook stuff or something like that.
No, their focus is on Ecamm.
Well, Ecamm's the name of the company. Glenn, oh, what was Glenn's last name? I forgot. He used to, oh yeah, Ecamm Live streaming service.
Glenn and Ken, the twins.
Yeah, the nice people.
Yeah, very nice.
So I was speaking with Kurt a little earlier this afternoon, and he seems to have a problem because he has the S lady, the A lady, and Sonos, and sometimes they kind of conspire to take over the household.
That's true. Well, Sonos doesn't have voice control yet. They're supposedly coming out with them. The problem that I've had with the S Lady is
Hello.
that sometimes one device picks it up, sometimes
Hi,
another
Melissa.
device picks it up. Hey, Melissa.
Hello,
Hello.
Melissa.
I was just doing some testing before I came on to see if I could figure out why Roger and I had a play date earlier. Can you hear me okay on my AirPods?
Yes.
Okay.
So Roger, I tried just before now. I hosted a Zoom and I plugged in my iPhone and I was able to click share and see my iPhone. Did you get my message from earlier? And I wonder if it was a setting.
No, I didn't get your message.
So remember when we were clicking share screen and we were looking in the places where you can share from and the iPad and iPhone weren't showing up? So I saw that again when I tried hosting my own Zoom. So I wonder if it's a setting somewhere.
Well, I looked it up on Zoom's FAQs,
Mhm.
and according to that, it should just show up, but it's not.
Let me see if it shows up now. Yeah, no, it's still not showing up under.
So maybe they broke it
Yeah.
with the
When I
new.
just did it now, it showed up as an option.
Yeah, it said if your iPhone wasn't connected, it would give you instructions on how to connect it, but that's not showing up either.
Hmm.
So
Did you try logging into your Zoom account and going to that settings page to see if there's something in there?
yeah, I couldn't find anything in there.
No. Okay. I wonder if it's because you have a business account and I have a consumer level account.
Um,
Because what I did was, as a test, I tried hosting a Zoom meeting, and then I clicked the share. I have my iPhone plugged in, and I clicked share screen, and then it showed up as one of the options, just like I had seen it before. So I just don't know what the difference is between your hosting it and my hosting it. Doesn't make any
yeah, it didn't,
sense.
it didn't say anything that it was depending on what account you had in the
Yeah.
FAQ that I saw, and there's nothing in the share screen settings about, turning on iPhone access or not.
Right. Yeah.
Melissa, you look a little short, like you need to sit on a couple of phone books or something.
I am sitting on a chair pad because I have the Logitech camera up there. I decided to hide out in the office here. Otherwise, my camera would be better. I like the MacBook Pro camera a lot better, but it's off to my right. So otherwise, you'd just be looking at the side of me.
Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Tucson Macintosh User Group ad hoc Apple HomePod special interest group meeting. And our leaders for this meeting are Melissa and Roger. Although the meeting is really a participant-driven roundtable meeting. Melissa, can you tell us what HomePods you may have?
Well, yeah, I thought we'd start out with the hardware. So I'm going to go ahead and unplug mine here. So a HomePod is basically it's a smart speaker. It's this little device, and mine's small, and Roger has the larger one. And you plug it in and you connect it to your Wi-Fi. So it's all driven by a Wi-Fi connection. You need internet for this, and you need electricity for this. And if you have an iPhone, and it usually most all iPhones come with the Home app installed. And I know for years I was like, I just had deleted it because I didn't have anything to put in a home. Well, now I do. So if you've ever seen that app that looks like a yellow or orange house, this is what you're going to need for working with this. So you use that app to set it up. And I have some links and stuff that I'm going to paste into the chat. I had sent you some, Gretchen, too, for like kind of how to get started.
I'm guessing Gretchen's looking for her phone, and I think I have to do that too, because it's
Yeah,
not
you
here in
might
front of
wanna-
me.
You might want to have your toy so you can play along.
Okay.
And so just to be clear, like I don't know everything about the HomePod. These are just my own like personal experiences. So we can kind of like you said, it's a round table. But the bare basics of it is this is a smart speaker, and you can at the basic level, you can use it to play music. Think of it like a boombox in a way from your iPhone, but remotely. But what really makes it great is Siri integration. You really need to talk to it and give it commands. I like to think of it as spells or incantations, and it does take a little bit of training, a little bit of a learning curve. You have to think about what you're going to say and how you're going to phrase it. And my advice is just try it. If you think it might be able to do something, go ahead and ask it, because worst it could do is say, "I'm sorry, I can't help you with that." That's what she'll say. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble right now. Or I've sent a link to your iPhone. So just try asking her questions. It's all about being inquisitive. So this is what, well, actually, I want Roger, can you hold up your HomePod? Because Roger has the first iteration of this, and he can talk a little bit about it. We were talking about this when we had our play date earlier, but it turns out that the original HomePods, the big guys, they're actually now, well, first of all, Apple's not producing them anymore. So you can't just go on the Apple website or Target or anything and purchase them. If you want to get one of those bad boys, you have to go to eBay and you're going to pay a premium for it. So they have now appreciated in value. That doesn't usually happen.
Nice.
So I actually did a little research on eBay today, and that story became clickbait across the internet about HomePods selling on eBay more than they did originally.
Oh.
Originally, they were, I think, when they first came out, they were $369, or
Yeah.
then they lowered it to $299. And there was one on eBay for $995, but there were a lot of them on there for around $200 used, of course. So you still can get them for less than retail. And then there were a lot of HomePod minis on there for around $69.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Are they used, or do they claim that they're
Some
still
of
in the
them are
box?
new. Yeah, some of them
Really?
are new. Yeah.
I'm really tempted to get a sibling for this.
When I got mine, Costco had them for 85.
Yeah, when I got this, I got mine at Target. Target had it was actually way after Black Friday. I don't know, it was like an afterthought or something, but I think I got it for around the same price. It was a really good deal.
Yeah, all of the smart speaker, or even non-smart speakers, like I have some really old Sonos, and they were going for $150 new. They're now for $300 each on Amazon.
Interesting.
Even the current stuff is selling on Amazon double what Sonos would sell them for, because they have a supply issue right now.
Interesting. So the point is that you can't just outright buy the big ones anymore, because Apple doesn't make them unless you go to an estate sale. I mean, they're still to be had. They're still around. What would you say, Roger, is the major difference? The size. I mean, the original one is much larger, so it's going to have probably a much bigger sound. These are pretty mighty, but I don't think that they can compete volume-wise with the big ones.
Right. That's exactly.
They probably have a lot more microphones. I don't remember. I think I might have heard there was like 9 microphones. Do you know how many microphones are inside of it? A lot, right?
Yeah. There's microphones are all around the base, pointing out in all directions. So they're very sensitive.
So do you want to show them? You want to hold it up and show them, like, how much would you say yours weighs? Like a cat? Does it weigh as much of a cat?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
Mine's more of like a gerbil. It's pretty hefty. It's bigger than a drink cozy. It's maybe not quite as big as a trash can, and it's got some heft to it. It's not very portable. You kind of want to plug that in, and it's an appliance for you. These are like little miniature appliances. And then Rogers they both have braided cables. We were comparing them earlier today. They both have braided cables now. Rogers has to plug into a wall socket. It's got a 3 prong plug. Now imagine what would happen if you wanted to take one oh, it's only two, so it doesn't have the ground. So what would happen if you traveled abroad? You'd have to get an adapter to take it, or do they make them with the European ends
Yeah,
on
just
them?
get the
I'm not
standard
sure.
kits you can get.
Mm.
They sell them at the Apple store.
Yeah, the
So
input
nice,
is 100 to 240, I think.
Mhm. Now I heard that as far as the minis are concerned, these do not draw a whole lot of power, and you could actually make this a portable device. So you could actually they make I'll put a link to it. I have like a list of links that I'll copy and paste maybe while Roger's talking. But they have a gizmo on Amazon. It's on my Mother's Day wish list, and let's see if I get it or not. But they make a gizmo that you can actually put this into, and it's portable. So it has its own battery pack, and I guess you probably wind the wire around. So just to look at this, so it feels like it's wrapped in fabric. It's like one of those prettily, the wrapped apples that you get in the fancy grocery stores, and it feels like fabric. And the cable, see if I can get this to be like one of those influencers. Let's see if I can get it to focus. And if I
Yep.
twist it a little bit, can you see that it's braided?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a very nice, thick, hefty cable. Now it does get a little twisted if you move it around. But again, these are meant to just be kind of plugged in. You can relocate them. Rogers is more like an appliance that you just kind of plug it in and it just sits there. These you could move around and relocate. And then for comparison's sake, if you look at, say, one of the standard issued Apple USB-C cables, it's about the same thickness. So it's really well made. You look at the bottom of it, you can see that's where the cable comes out the bottom. And then I thought this was a ring of dust. It's actually a ring of text. It's probably got like the serial number and things like that on it. The bigger ones had an issue where, and it could have been when this is setting on a flat surface, maybe because of the vibration, that it was causing rings on people's furniture, and they started making all kinds of coasters and things for them. Not had that problem with this at all. In fact, I thought that maybe it was wearing, but I actually realized that it was just text. So no marking or anything like that. No problems whatsoever with the bottoms of these things. And then the really cool thing with this is, like I said, this is USB-C. So that's the end of it. And what it comes with in the box is same exact, it's identical. It's a 20-watt power supply, that the kind that you get with the iPad. It's the same kind, and it plugs into that. Now, you might be thinking, and I did a little bit of research on this, you cannot plug this into your MacBook Pro, even though it would fit in the port. You cannot plug this in and have it power it. I watched a video where they demonstrated that, and it turns orange on the top, indicating that it's not getting enough power. Now, this is a sizable, chunky.
What about the new M1s? I think they deliver more power. Would those support it?
That could be, because the video that I watched was from last year. So maybe I'll have to look into it. I'm not going to try it right now, though. I don't want to blow everything up. So another thing too is, like, this is a pretty sizable, chunky, you can see how big it is in my hand. They take up a considerable amount of space in your wall socket. I mean, things fit, but Anker makes one that's a little bit smaller that will work with this. So the point is that you have some options. So you can get a smaller wall power plug. You can use this one. If you lose this one, you can use the one that came with your iPad, 20 watts, it'll work. And like I said, there's gizmos that they have that you can get third party that you could put these in and make them portable and wireless, basically. As long as you're connected to Wi-Fi, you can take it around your house, which I think is kind of.
Yeah, there was one on eBay that actually came with a Anker battery pack.
Oh, interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to plug mine in now that I showed you the hardware. Does anybody have any more hardware questions before I plug it in?
So Melissa, if you were to get a battery for that thing and plug it in, do you have Wi-Fi out into your back 40?
I do.
Listen to it up on the plateau.
I do. I have a Deco mesh system, and you've been to my house, so you see I have a Dash Meco up on top of the kitchen cabinet, so the signal goes pretty far out there. And I've done a couple of FaceTime calls out there with my parents. I'm like, all right, let me know if you lose the signal, and I can go all the way up to the back and look over the wall, and so it reaches pretty far.
Great.
Pretty happy with that.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
So did
For
you hear
more
what she
info,
said? She's
check
having
the Home
trouble.
app.
I don't know if you can hear it through my microphone.
Yeah,
I'd have to hold
we
it up
heard.
here.
We can.
We heard.
Yeah. Interesting. So she's getting connected, and you can see when you touch it. Now, let me see. I just put fingerprints on it, but you see there's a little plus sign and a minus sign.
Mhm.
So this is a touch screen. You can control plus and minus volume.
I'm not sure I understand.
She thinks I'm talking to her.
Mhm.
You can double tap, triple tap. I forget what they do. What do they do, Roger? They go backwards, forwards, like you can skip tracks, rewind a track, fast forward.
Play
You're
pause.
muted.
Right.
You're muted,
You're
Roger.
muted, Roger.
The nice thing about that is that somebody without an iPhone can control it. So anybody in your household can pause it or start it or adjust the volume.
Right. And you just have to, it's just a matter of going up and booping it. Just boop it like you boop a dog.
Or tell
Yeah.
Siri to do it.
Is that a
Right.
technical term, Melissa? Booping it?
Yes, it is now.
Official.
It's like a little pet. Boop. So yes, you can control it with Siri, but in our experience here in the house, and Roger and I were laughing about this because I have one smart speaker and 4 people in the house that control it, and Roger's one person and he has 4 smart speakers. So we've got the whole spectrum covered here. In our experience, she will sometimes say, "I'm sorry, who's speaking?"
Mm.
And it sounds to me like she's learning your voices. So remember, we have 4 different people, 2 little kids,
There's a way to
and their
fix that.
voices are changing. I've got 2 pubescent children in the house, and their voices are changing. So that's going to be real interesting. So occasionally she'll say, "Who's speaking?" It's interesting.
Do you know how
But
to
she
set that up?
recognizes us all.
Do you know how to set up the who's speaking? Or tell Siri who's speaking?
Well, yeah, we have. We just say who it is because I have it set in the Home app for multiple people. So each of our family members is set up in there. And I think during the setup, I think it might have walked us through,
Well,
saying Siri phrases.
on everybody's device, there's a thing called personal request. And if they turn it on, then Siri will recognize their voice and also be able to
Right.
control their devices as well.
Yep. And so all 4 of us can control this thing, each from our devices. What's a really cool feature is when you're listening to music, if that song, and again, this is only my experience with Apple Music and using a HomePod Mini, if there are songs in Apple Music catalog that have lyrics, you can tap the little lyrics and you can almost have like little kind of karaoke and see what the song is. My husband really appreciates that. He's bilingual. He also speaks German. And he really appreciates being able to see the lyrics to the songs so we can understand what they are.
Where do you tap? What do you tap, Melissa? You mean on the home?
Good question. Yep.
And the
So
Home
let's
app.
see. Since I can't share my screen very easily, I'm going to have to show it to you here. Let's see if you can see it. So this is the Home. Nope. This is the Home app.
Okay.
I called mine. And Roger can share his screen too, and we can drill down into it. But see, I have an Apple TV also. So I have these 2 devices here. That's another thing that you may have heard me say before that I use my HomePod for is I have a very old dumb TV for our living room. It's like an RCA, it's very old. And the Apple TV is a brand new one. It's the Apple TV 4K, but when we use the remote control with it, the Apple TV remote, we can't control the volume with it natively. So I hooked up the HomePod. Normally I have this in the living room and I have it in the center of the television.
Mm.
And I paired my HomePod with my Apple TV, the little black thing that looks like a hockey puck. And it is now kind of like a sound bar in a way. And now our TV is so old that it won't let you turn it on and off with the Apple TV remote. So I keep the original TV remote on an end table and I use it only to power the TV on and off. And then I can use just one Apple TV remote. So the hardest thing now is not losing the darn thing and the couch cushions, but I can now control the volume and the whole entire Apple TV interface with one remote and also the HomePod. In fact, what's really cool is when you're watching TV, let's say the remote control, where's the remote control? It's under a pillow somewhere. Nobody knows where it is. You can yell at the TV. You can yell at the HomePod and say, hey, S lady, pause or rewind. And so if you're watching Netflix or Hulu or whatever, it'll actually rewind for you. It'll pause the playback or it'll resume the playback, and you can do it all with your voice. So that's been one of the greatest things about this, is being able to just talk to it. It gives us somebody else to yell at in the house, basically. So it can be kind of fun. We can
So
argue over it.
if I have my HomePod in my studio, I'm not getting really the full use out of it, right? Because the
Well,
TV is in the living room and that's where we watch TV.
do
Yeah,
you
but
have an
you
Apple
have-
TV though?
Maybe
do
I
have an
need
Apple
another one.
You have an Apple TV in your studio.
I know,
Yeah.
I do. I don't.
Yeah, I would get them talking to each other. And
I don't
Roger's showing you on
understand
the
that,
screen,
talking to each other. And
like
then here it says,
synchronized.
choose when intercom notifications are delivered to this iPhone. What do I
Let's
want to
see
write?
where
What do
you
I want
are.
to choose?
So do you understand what the intercom is?
No.
So it's just like it says, it's an intercom. If you, like, I use it in my family all the time. If I'm in bed and I want to yell at the kids out in the living room, I say, hey, S lady, intercom. And then it makes a sound and I start talking. And whatever I say comes out of the HomePod out in the living room, just like an
So
intercom
you
would.
keep it in the HomePod is in the living room.
Right, because that's kind of, you've been to my house, so it's like kind
How
of
did
central.
it hear
It's like
you?
in the center of the house.
Did you talk into your phone?
It can actually hear me from the bedroom.
Oh
God,
The
it's
microphones are that powerful in the little
Wow.
mini. They're that powerful. So depending on how much square footage you have, and like in my house, it's all tiled, so the sound bounces around a lot. That could have a little bit of something to do with it. But the big ones have even more microphones, so it can hear you in other rooms. Like I said, your mileage may vary depending on how wide your house is and how thick your walls are. But in a place like ours, where you've seen, like, it hears us in just about all the rooms. We can all
Okay.
yell at it from wherever we are. Sometimes it's a little annoying because she picks up a little bit too much. Like, no, I wasn't talking to you. Or sometimes I'll actually have to talk into my iPhone if I'm wanting it to be whatever I'm asking Siri about. I want it on my iPhone. I have to make sure that I'm actually directing my voice to my iPhone or my watch. But the intercom will actually, I think the kids have told me that it's actually, they'll hear it on their watch too.
Hmm.
So it's really an intercom everywhere. Now, like he's showing you, you can choose. I wish I could share my screen because then I could show you what it looks like for a family. But what's your use case scenario, Gretchen? Are you and Bob sharing it, or is this just your little
It's
baby
just-
for your?
It's mine, and I have it in my studio for when I'm quilting on the quilting machine because I
Mhm.
can't hear anything else.
Mhm.
So that's why.
Is
and
it
I have
loud?
right next to them. Well, is it loud?
Is the quilting machine loud?
Yeah, sorta.
And so this is a speaker that trumps that, and you can actually hear over the quilting machine with it, huh?
Yeah, I guess I could put in my whatever those things are, earphones.
Well, you could, but what's the fun in
I
that
don't
when you
hear,
have this
but
thing?
I also have hearing aids, so I
Yeah.
just can't stand all
It's
this crap.
probably easier to just have the smart speaker. And
Yeah.
the other nice thing is you can talk to it while it's playing music, and the microphones are so powerful. That's something that I cannot do with my iPhone. When my iPhone is playing music, I can't say, hey, S lady, turn the volume up or pause or rewind or anything like that. It can't hear me because of the sound that's coming out of the phone. That is not the case with the HomePod Mini. The HomePod Mini can hear you if you have it at highest volume. And so what's nice is you can say, hey, S lady, put the volume at 50%, put the volume at 80%, or turn the volume up or turn the volume down, or pause or fast forward. You just speak to it and it will take those commands from you. Again, that's all dependent on it being connected to your Wi-Fi network. So the HomePod and the iPhone both have to be on the same Wi-Fi network. I was having an issue earlier because I have a guest network and my phone was connecting to the guest network for whatever reason. And she would say, sorry, you'll have to try again later, or I'm having trouble connecting. And occasionally it'll actually even tell you that they're not on the same network. So you have to make sure that they're both on the same Wi-Fi network.
Melissa,
Mhm.
I have an original HomePod that's in my family room attached
Roger's.
attached to the Apple TV.
Okay.
But I also use it just for music, especially from music from my music library. And I, the volume seems to stay on whatever was with the Apple TV. It won't really
Oh.
respond to me when I ask to lower the volume when it's playing music.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering who has the, or which has the upper hand, I guess, the Apple TV with the speaker, or me as the owner. I'm not quite sure, but that's where I notice a discrepancy, I guess.
Are you using an Apple TV with it?
Yes, the Apple
Okay.
TV is attached to my television, and
Right.
the HomePod is attached or linked to my Apple TV. But
So I sort of,
it should be
right.
able to play from my music library also.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a setting on your Apple TV that you might need to explore, because I had that issue too, where I wanted the HomePod to be the central volume controller. I
Yeah.
wanted it to supersede everything. And I remember doing something in Apple TV under the settings for audio,
Okay.
so that I keep the TVs, because the TV's speakers are terrible. So I keep the television speaker volume turned down.
Right.
And the HomePod is the main audio for it, but it's also the audio for my iPhone too. So is there something in settings in there under audio settings, Roger, that can speak to that? Is there anything else that we need to do besides setting it in Apple TV audio settings? Because you have two different devices and two different device settings that you need to look
Right.
at to get this to all play together the way that you want it.
No, I've been looking, but I haven't found anything. There's audio settings, and it just,
Oh, okay.
let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see if we long press.
That's just for pairing it. That's just for making a stereo
Yeah.
pair.
If I
Yeah.
press on it, nothing happens. So
But she's got one. So my first gut reaction is to go into the Apple TV settings. First of all,
Okay.
make sure that you have the latest version of the software. I assume that you checked the software version and made sure it had an update.
Probably. I checked the Apple TV software update.
Yeah, make sure that they're all on the same. They're supposed to update automatically, but of course we all
Right.
know how that goes. So that would be the first thing that I would check in the checklist. And then the second thing would be I would look in those settings. If it doesn't make sense and it's still not working and it says that it's controlling the volume, then you might want to just unpair it and repair it and see if that fixes it. Kind of like turn it off, turn it back on again. But that's where I would start experimenting. I would start looking in there.
Okay.
Because
Great.
there's different places to control the volume. So, there's the Apple TV remote volume that you can control. There's volume while it's playing music in the music app on your iPhone that you can control the volume. And then there's here where what Roger's showing is in the home app, you have to long press. So it's not just a tap. If you just tap it, it'll pause it. If you long press, then you can control the volume like he's showing there.
Okay.
And then the other way is with your voice. But it sounds like, is that where you're getting stuck? Is your voice it's not responding to your voice in the volume control?
Right.
Okay. What's the phrase that you're using? What incantation or spell are you using?
Well, I use Hey S Lady.
Mm-hmm. Do you say volume up, volume down? Do you say?
Sometimes they say decrease the volume by 20%, or decrease the volume. I haven't really come up with a great or a definitive phrase.
Lower the volume works perfectly.
Right.
Thank
you. That's what it is. So I would keep like a little notebook or something, and like I said, it's like a spell book. Like write down what the phrases are that you're using and try a different phrase. So try turn the volume up, or what works for us is either volume up, volume down, or set the volume at percentage. But I don't say decrease it by the percentage. I say set the volume at 50%. Or sometimes I think I even say, hey, S Lady, volume at 50%, or volume at 80%, or something like that. So try different incantations and see if that gets you better results.
is there a place where particular phrases for her are located? Is that necessary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. That's a great question. What's the answer, Kevin? Do you just say help? She'll say, you can
No,
ask me things like,
Take Control. They have a book called Take
Ah.
Control of Siri.
it should be called the spell book for Siri or something where you can like look it up. I just think it's fun to call it spells. Because you really, like I said at the very beginning, you have to think about what you're gonna say and try to phrase it and try to get the thought from your brain to come out your mouth.
Yeah.
And it really takes some getting used to. It really does.
Yes, it does, and it has to be fluent. If
Yes.
you say, "Hey, S lady, pause,"
Yeah.
and also you have to be careful when you're not at home using it. Because I was at a client's house one day explaining that I could say, "Hey, S lady," I actually said it.
Yeah.
Turn on the kitchen lights to 30% or turn off the bedroom fan. And I was
And it
turning
freaked
lights
out
on and off while she was home.
Oh no, and it freaked her out. She was like, what is happening? See what I mean? You're casting a spell. You got to be careful. With great power
Yeah.
comes great responsibility.
Hey, Roger, you want to see something really cool on your phone? Go back to the home app. See where it says your living room Echo Bee? Press and hold that to go into the settings. Go into settings. Scroll down. You must have an older Echo Bee. Never mind. On the newer Echo Bees, there's a button there that says listen for Hey Siri. And if you turn that on,
Oh,
your Echo Bee will turn into a HomePod.
Yeah.
And you could also send music to it from your Mac or from your iPhone, just like you can any HomePod.
Yeah. I have the Echo B 3
Right.
Lite, which that's the
Right.
difference. It doesn't have that
Yeah, it
feature.
starts with the 4, I think.
okay.
So that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. That's the other thing. What else can a HomePod do for you? It can control your home and your automation, not just music. In addition to it being it can be your sound bar, so to speak, for your TV. It can be your music player. It can also tell you about the weather. It can play. I just learned this today, actually. I didn't know it could do this, but it makes total sense. You can say, hey, S Lady, play ocean sounds. And it'll just play soothing ocean sounds. If you can think of an ambient sound, just ask for it and see if she'll play it. You can say, hey, play fireplace, play rain. And so if you're trying to meditate or you're trying to relax or something, it'll play ambient music. It'll play ambient sounds for you. I thought that was really cool.
Terrific.
But back to what they're talking about, this is more like smart home kind of stuff. I have a couple of Wi-Fi bulbs that interact with the, what is it called? Smart Home Life or Smart, let me look for it. Smart Life.
Life.
Are you familiar with that? Smart Life?
That's
And
Samsung,
I
isn't
have, I never saw Samsung in any of this stuff.
No,
But
Samsung is Smart Things.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, this is like a cheapy version. I mean, these bulbs are only like around $10 a piece or something. And I think I got a 2-pack for $10 one time. So they're not like Hughes and they're not, Philips or anything like that, but they still work. They might not be as reliable as some of the more expensive stuff, but this is good entry level kind of stuff. So I actually have mine set up in the bedroom and in the living room, and I can say to my HomePod, hey, S Lady, living room off, and she'll turn off the lights. I can say living room on, and she'll turn on the lights. I can say living room dim, and she'll lower the lights. And that's all because I set it all up in this app. It's one of those things where it takes an investment of time and it takes like some tinkering and you got to kind of like figure it out and set it up. But once you do, you can just talk to your HomePod and control your lights. And that's pretty cool. So it can do smart home stuff.
But don't
All
you
kinds
have
of
to
smart
have
home stuff.
some special attachment to the light or whatever technology
It-
you want to turn on?
It's built into the light bulb. So the light bulb is a Wi-Fi receiver, if you will. So it
What light?
transmits and receives the
So
light.
you bought special light bulbs?
Special light
Okay.
bulbs, yep. Special
Hmm.
light bulbs, they plugged into the socket and I just opened up the app and it found it. There was some pairing involved. Like, remember you said earlier, you don't understand what that means talking to each other, meaning that it's paired. All of these devices are dependent on sending and receiving signals that they see. If you know anything about your Wi-Fi, you know that you have to connect when you travel. You have to connect your iPhone to a Wi-Fi signal. So meaning you have to go into your Wi-Fi uh, settings area and look for the network. So if you're staying at a hotel, they're going to give you a card, or they're going to tell you the name of the network is this. And
Right.
you
I
tap
know.
it and you enter the password. It's all very much the same process for all of these things. There's some kind of pairing process that needs to occur. And Apple's pretty good at making it fairly easy of them just seeing each other on the network and popping up and showing you, hey, here's a device. You want to get this device to talk to that device. Does that make a
Yeah,
little more sense?
I knew all that.
Okay.
It may not sound like I knew that, but I did know that.
That's
I
okay.
just I because you sent me that, I don't know if it was on Facebook or wherever it was, you told me
You were
about
texting.
home. I didn't know anything about the home app. I had no idea that there was an app on my phone.
That's what I kind of figured. Yeah. Did any of the little
So
pictures and stuff help you?
very helpful, but
Good.
I guess I'm still, I
Where are
wish
you
I could,
stuck?
I need to read something. Do you have a
Yeah.
suggestion on something that I can read that's going to tell me all these things?
Well, the links that I had sent you, and I'll post them into the chat too. Let's see.
Take control of
Software
Siri.
updates. Yeah, that might be helpful, but I think that, Gretchen, I think are you still stuck with getting it set up, or do you have it set up now? Like, do you
I don't
know
have
if you
it all
can?
set up. I don't even know
Okay.
how I don't even know what to set up.
Well, is your HomePod nearby?
Right over there.
Okay. And it's plugged in?
It's in the
Yeah.
water.
No.
If you tap the top of it, does it glow? Is it
Yeah.
powered on?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was listening to Crosby, Stills and Nash while I was
Oh,
cooking
okay.
today.
So
So yeah.
something must be set up on it then, if you're
Yeah, I
able to
set it
play
up.
music.
I just
Okay.
think that it should do more than just play songs to me while I, quilt on my quilting machine.
So what would be a guess? Like, what comes to mind? What would you like to try out on it?
Well,
A weather report?
what?
A weather report?
Yeah, I
You want
have
to know
to
what the
ask
weather is?
Siri anything, so it's the same Siri.
Same thing. Yep. It'll tell you the weather. You can set timers. You can set alarms.
Yeah.
You set it to turn on your sewing machine.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think I want it to do that.
Have
I,
you opened the Home app on your iPhone?
I'm just trying to set it up, and it was kind of confusing me. So now when I press home, I have the home button, the home app open. It
Good.
shows the living room Apple TV and the office HomePod. Now
Perfect.
Bob says I have an Apple TV here, but it's not showing up.
Okay. So if you long press on the HomePod, what do you see?
Well, I just did that before. It shows Crosby, Stills and Nash, that I was
Uh-huh.
listening to. Alarms. I don't know what that means. Like, can't I just ask her to set an alarm? Why do I have to
Yeah,
do it?
if you need to set an alarm because you have an appointment to go to, you just tap new alarm and she'll play an alarm. And then when it goes off, you can say, hey, Leslie, stop. And then she'll stop the alarm for you.
But why wouldn't I just say, hey, hey, S lady?
same thing.
You can do that too.
Okay.
There's
Timers.
you can either do it with your voice or you can do it in the app here. It's giving you a choice to either do it vocally or with a touch interface.
Oh,
They
okay.
both arrive at the same place. It's just two different ways of doing it depending on what you want to do. Maybe there's someone in there having a conversation and you don't want to talk to it at the time, so you use your touch interface to set it up and poke at it, and then it'll perform the same actions for you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
Just
if you keep
remember anything that you could do with Siri on your phone,
Yeah.
you could do with Siri on your speaker.
on the
So if you
HomePod.
want to send somebody a text, you can say, hey, S lady, send Bob a text and tell it what you want to send it to. And it'll connect to your phone and send a text. And if it hears Bob's voice, it'll connect to his phone, send a text from his account.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
So you
actually,
can text with it. You can
Eventually it's gonna
add things
know.
to your shopping list.
Well,
I use
this
the
one-
shopping list all the time.
We have a different, we use lists, so that I should,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should switch. So should I have that thing, take it out of the studio and put it somewhere in a more central location? Because I'm way in the, way at the other end of the house.
It
Just get
sounds
another
like
one.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna order one right now.
It's a different zip code.
I'm
back in
going
the
to,
studio.
I'm gonna get it.
That's funny. Yeah. They multiply like bunnies.
Wait until you start getting into the automation stuff. I want to talk about multiplying.
I know, Kevin. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to call you
Like,
later.
what
Did I
are
ever-
you guys?
Melissa, did I ever send you a picture of my home screen?
No, but you can.
I hope you're sitting down.
Oh
I'll put it.
no. Are you gonna
I'll
put it
put-
in the chat?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. Let me see
Okay.
here. How I could do this. Take a
well, while
screenshot.
Kevin is doing that, if you want to send a text, all you have to do is say the word tell and the person's name.
That's cool.
You don't
Oh,
have
really?
to. You don't have to say send a text to Gretchen and have her say, "What do you want to say?" You can just say, "Tell Gretchen
Oh my God, Kevin.
it's
God.
time
have
to
a
come to
problem.
dinner."
Oh, that's lovely.
Kevin, you have a problem. You need help.
So did you count them?
No.
I can't count that high.
I don't have that
And
many
that's all-
fingers and toes.
That's only the things that are shown in HomeKit.
Oh my
Ay,
There's
ay,
a
ay.
ton of other things that are automated that Siri
What they
recognizes, but just
say.
not in the app.
First step is
every-
admitting you have a problem.
Every light, every switch in the house, every fan that, yeah, you name it.
And what are you gonna do when you lose power?
Well, electricity doesn't work, so what's the difference?
Do you right? Do you remember how to use regular switches?
You can't in my house. All the switches are electronic.
Oh no.
But again, if you lose power, the switches aren't going to work anyway.
So
no
everybody send
electricity.
Kevin some candles and some matches.
I've got flashlights all over the place, and we're getting a generator. And the
Oh, there you
generator
go.
is going to be HomeKit compatible too.
Oh my God.
Oh man. That's fun. So Gretchen, it sounds like you probably need to, like you said, either put it more centrally located or get another
I'm
one.
buying another one. I want mine in here.
And Susan, you posted in the chat the HomePod users guide in the books. That's a really great resource. Have you opened up your books app and looked in there for it? Do you ever go into the books app?
I
The
just
Apple Books app?
downloaded, I just updated what I had in my library. So I just downloaded it. And I will take a look at it.
Yeah, so there's a HomePod user guide. I would say check that out because they're usually good about putting pictures in there and having a reference there. There's also like copious amounts of YouTube videos, and I know that they can be hard
Inner
to.
timer.
There's the timer. Pretty little timer. I watched some today. I'll go back through and I'll post it in the group talk. There's a couple of videos that I watched. I just have to go back through my library and remember which ones were the good ones. Because some of them, like, they just drone on and on and on and all right, get to the point. And others are really good and they're straightforward and they show you what to press and what to set up. So I find those helpful videos so you can see it in action.
That's a link for a book called HomePod Mini with Siri for Beginners. It
Mm,
just came out a couple of weeks ago.
cool. So I'll post, I think the chat will be a good resource if we all post links. Let's see.
The
this
take
one.
control books usually produce really nice introductions. I've got quite a few of them, and I feel quite comfortable just recommending them sight unseen.
Okay.
This link that I'm going to paste is about the software updates. So remember we were talking about checking to make sure that you have the most recent software update. I would start there with your devices. Make sure that you have the latest version. It also tells you what has changed. The most important thing always with updates is security. So make sure that you're applying your updates and your patches. But you can also read some of the things on that link that talks about what they actually changed in those updates. And then here is a support guide. So we'll put these in the chat, and then does everybody know how to save the chat? And I think, Susan, are you the one that puts this together in the?
Yeah, she is.
I can't save on my iPad.
On the
Bob sent
iPad.
it to me.
On your Zoom, for the Zoom app, you can't save? No.
She can't save the chat. So these we'll all paste these links into the chat, and then we'll paste them. We'll save the chat as one document, and then we'll put it into the forums.
For you.
Oh, sorry.
Did you paste the link to the Amazon? Yeah, you did. You pasted the link to the HomePod for beginners, right?
Yeah.
And then I also have, is anybody on the fence about Apple Music? Does anybody have any questions about, is Apple Music worth it? That sort of thing. Are you trying to decide?
I actually,
yeah,
go ahead.
I think Susan Clement and I have the same concern, which has to do with classical music.
Okay.
Being played from the, by Siri, really, because, sorry, she just plays whatever movements come along.
Right.
There's no order to the classical music.
Right.
I actually wrote to Apple saying they should be able to fix that so that classical music at least is played in the order it was composed in.
Right.
That's a really great point.
Because that's very annoying.
I bet.
I would not use Apple Music for that reason.
Oh.
But I've got so many other sources for classical music that I don't need Apple Music.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that I'm playing it from my music library. And when they take Mozart and take all the piano concertos and just zip them all around in miscellaneous ways, it's
Grating.
yeah.
So I wonder, does anybody know, do any of the other music services like Spotify or Amazon Music or Pandora, for example,
Spotify
are
does
those any
some
better?
classical.
Have you tried that out?
Apple is actually working on a classical music offering.
Yes, they are.
I'm quite sure that they're going to have to address that. It's going to be real soon now, and I would love to see what they have to offer.
I think that
don't
was.
give up.
I think that was at the last Worldwide Developers Conference. I think they announced that they were going to be working on this, but it hasn't been released yet.
Okay.
The problem is, I think Apple caters more to the millennials and to us younger folks.
Yeah.
Well, I think Apple started out with popular music, which doesn't have to run in a particular order.
Right.
And it's never really switched away from it.
One question I have, Melissa, and you might know the answer to this. Do you know of any way to play music in my local iTunes library using Siri on the HomePod?
Yeah, not except from just walking your phone over like a cave person and like tapping it to it. But yeah, not with Siri then. That's what I know of.
Yeah, because even on the phone, when you ask for it to play music, it looks it up on Apple Music, and I don't have Apple Music.
I seem to recall there was a brief amount of time where, since we got the HomePod, we let our Apple Music trial lapse and then decided that we couldn't live without it. But during that time, I remember that it would play music from my iPhone
To
with
your
Siri,
iPhone.
but
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, from my iPhone to,
Oh.
but I think I don't know if I did it with Siri or not. I think that's what it was. I think that when you don't subscribe to Apple Music, you lose the ability to use Siri to control
Right.
playback.
That's
I think
right.
that's what you pay that premium for. Whereas if you don't have Apple Music, then you have to use your phone to control the HomePod. And you have to, use the playback buttons to tap on your phone. You
That or
can't
on
do
a
it with your
Mac and
voice.
tell it what
Mhm.
speakers to use and all that.
Yep. So all
Yeah.
that will transmit through Wi-Fi using an interface. You can't use your voice. So I think that's what you get as a feature with, paying for the music service. Now, I don't know, Roger, if you can speak to how does it work with Spotify or any of the other. Can you use Amazon Music with it? That I'm not sure about.
I have those answers in just a
Oh,
second,
good.
but first this. So
A word from our sponsors.
when I talk to my HomePod and I just say, "Hey, yes, lady, play my music," it plays the music from my music
My
library.
music. Uh-huh.
Play my music, you ask it?
But you have Apple Music, correct?
Wrong.
No, he doesn't.
I do
Yeah, I've
not.
tried playing my music on it and it does not work.
Hmm. Well, let me try
It
it
works
right.
in the car.
Let
In
me
the
try
car, I
it
can tell
right
it to
now and
play
see what
something and it'll play
happens.
on the car,
Maybe they
but not
changed
through the
something.
HomePod.
Hey Siri, play my music.
But can you tell it to play a particular
My
album?
Mine too.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it went to Pandora,
Interesting.
Right.
but I just put
Which is-
Pandora on today, and I did not make Pandora my hey Siri, pause.
Your primary.
Yeah, I
music
did not make
service.
it the default. But back to your other question. Let me answer that. Let's see, we gotta share, stop sharing. And share screen again. And go to here. Okay. Get rid of the chat. So the music streaming services that work on HomePod. Apple Music, which you can get for $9.99 a month, or they have a fairly new feature, which is voice only, which is $5 a month. So you can only control it with your voice.
Okay.
And then you can get our iHeart Radio, which gives you access to most radio stations around the country.
Yeah.
And that's $6 a month. They have a limited free version that doesn't have as many features. Then Pandora is $5 a month, and they also have a free version. And Deezer, which is a French company, is $10 a month with a free version. And TuneIn has a free trial, but it's $15 a month. And all of these do have free trials, so you can try them for between a week and 30 days. In fact, sometimes you'll see a longer trial period for Apple Music for 3 months, depending
You
on
can
what.
use a limited free version for both Pandora and TuneIn Unlimited. On an iOS or a Mac or a PC, it just gives ads, but on the HomePod, they just work without it.
Yeah, well,
I haven't noticed anything different than I've never.
I've been
paid for
listening to
those.
Pandora on my HomePod all afternoon, and I got ads.
I use iHeart to listen to a station from New York City, and I don't get ads on that. And I don't pay iHeart either.
So to specifically answer
Yeah.
Melissa's question, what you can't get on the HomePod is Spotify, YouTube Music, Tidal, and Amazon Music.
Yeah, interesting.
What about Sirius?
Good question.
Yeah, I think they just came out with a new thing on Sirius XM, and I was reading about it today, but I don't think I got it added. And I got I didn't finish researching it, so I'm not sure, but there is something afoot with Sirius.
Yeah, there's an option in there, preferences on your iOS device. When you go in there to make it home or HomePod compatible. So it'll play
Right.
on the HomePod.
Right, so that's what we're talking about here. So you open a streaming app and you go to the app settings and you find an option that says connect with HomePod. And then you follow the on-screen suggestions. So let me show you that. So let's look here. And there's our, where is our HomePod? It went away. Okay, let's see here. Let me,
You could also control your HomePod with your Apple Watch, which is kind of fun.
yeah. Yeah, I was noticing that today. Are you seeing my
Nope,
iPhone?
not yet.
Oh,
Okay, let's try again.
While Roger is chasing down his HomePod, if you want a take control book, if you are a member of a user group such as TMUG, you can get a 30% discount
From whom?
from Take Control Books.
Okay.
And I have downloaded the HomePod user guide by Apple to my books application.
Right.
I just
And-
pasted that into the chat too.
Me too. I've got it on mine.
And if you are a Sirius radio user, Sirius radio, not Sirius,
the S
You
lady
can-
gets
you can-
very confused with this.
you can negotiate a lower price. I'll call it when the bill comes due for me, I'll call up and say, I hardly ever use it. I think I'm going to drop Sirius radio. And they hem and they haw and they try to get you back. And I say, well, if you can make it $100 for the year, I'll go with that.
Hey, Bob, next
Yeah.
time you do that, ask them for the $60 promotion.
Okay, that's better than 100.
It's $60 a year. I have a client that I do that every year on her cars, and they charge $60 for a full year.
I unfortunately took advantage of the lifetime membership about 7 years ago with like $300.
That's worth it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, that's worth it.
you're making money then because they want like $250 a year. Aspirational.
Okay,
So-
so here we are on Deezer. You can see my iPhone screen.
Yes, we can see your
Okay.
iPhone.
So if you can see in the upper right-hand corner is a little gear icon.
Mhm.
So we click on that. And then we scroll down. And we scroll down and you see down here in the last section, the second entry is control with or connect with HomePod. So you have discovered a premium feature. Oh, okay. So you don't get that with a free program. But that's how it works in all the different apps. That exact wording is in all the apps. Connect with HomePod in the settings. So that's how that works.
Roger, I want to try sharing my screen. There's something I want to show them in books. Let's see if I can show it. Tell me if you can see that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So you asked about, where are all the phrases, what all can you say?
Oh, yeah.
And starting on page 19, there's a whole list. Page 20. I mean, these are where all the spells are right here.
Yeah,
So
this
I would recommend everybody to download. It's free and you can
Right.
just read it right in the books app. And then you could even bookmark this page and come back to it for later. And see here, it talks about the intercom. So when you say, I think it should do a lot more than it does, I think this'll help you find out what more it could do for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is excellent. I
Thank
would have never known about that had I not come to this little meeting.
Oh, I'm so glad. So you have the book now?
Oh, I've already downloaded that.
Great. Great.
I
So
got
then
it.
everybody's homework is to learn a new spell.
No.
Does anybody here live close to the airport?
Me.
Oh,
One of the things that you could do, and it doesn't work up where I live, but in our old house, we used to say whenever there's a plane going above you, if you
Right.
say, "Hey, S lady, what's above me?" It'll
Oh,
give you the flight
yeah. I
information.
should try that. I
Yeah.
heard about that and I forgot about that. I should
It's
definitely try
kind of
that.
cool. And
Yeah, I
I
get
also have a
military
funny
traffic.
story about Siri if anybody wants to hear it.
Sure.
Go for it.
Do you guys remember, I'm going back maybe 10 years ago when they used to have the Cookie Monster doing a Siri commercial?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Do you remember that?
No.
So anyway, so it used to be that the Cookie Monster would go in and say, "Hey, S lady, set timer for 10 minutes," and put the cookies in and do some things. And 10 minutes later, it shows up that the alarm went off. Great commercial. Sue, who I love dearly, used to sleep with the TV on. She doesn't anymore because what would happen is every time that commercial came on, it set up the alarm on our phone. So 3 o'clock in the morning, her alarm would go off, saying,
Yeah.
"Your cookies are ready."
Your cookies are ready. That's great. That's why we always say S lady, or I noticed in videos they'll duck the volume so that it doesn't set off. And so I don't think it's learned everybody's own personal voices yet. So occasionally it'll still go off. So that's why we're
All
careful
I know
not
is
to
the
trigger it
microphones are
unless we
very
want to.
sensitive. We could be in the
Incredibly
bedroom and
sensitive.
say, "Hey, S lady," and the thermostat picks it up, the kitchen picks it up, and like around the corners, it doesn't care. It hears you.
That's
Well,
why I
when Roger-
said to you.
yeah,
Go
when
ahead.
Roger did his "Hey S lady" thing, the speaker at the opposite end of the house responded.
In your house?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny. So that's why I said to you, when depending on what device you're using, whether it's your watch or your iPhone, I usually tend to see she's lit up already. Have all three things here.
What
So you
I
have to
did
be
is on
very
my watch.
intentional about who you're talking, which device you're talking to, and I usually try to give it my attention.
What I did is on my watch, I turned off the Hey Siri, so I have to press the button.
That's you can, you might have to hack your devices depending, but that takes a while. It takes a while to learn what your habits are, and then you figure it out. Like, oh, I always do it this way, so I should turn that off. Does anybody have any other questions? Gretchen, do you feel like you can get it set up and responding to all your whims and desires?
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted. I have my reference book and I'm just totally delighted. Thank you so much for
You can always
doing
watch this video back too.
I'm glad that Roger has been recording this. We're going to use that in the next TMUG commercial. And I have a request of Melissa.
Okay.
Melissa, would you ask your HomePod to pick a number between 1 and 9?
Okay, let's give it a try. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 9. They're all going off. Okay, the watch says 1.
No, one's not an option.
Okay, let's try
Because
again.
that's me.
Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 9.
A random number between 1 and 9 is 4.
4. She says 4.
Well,
Hey, it's like a magic 8-ball.
Yes.
So
That's what I should have done while I talked to her.
number 4 on my list is Gretchen.
No.
Yay.
Really?
Yeah, really.
So what does that mean? Do I get the prize?
You get the prize. The prize is a Apple gift card for $10.
Woohoo!
I just bought my, if I had only known that, I wouldn't have bought my.
Trigger happy.
Oh,
Itchy fingers.
don't worry.
I think you'll find a way to spend the $10.
Yeah, probably by
yes.
tomorrow.
You can buy a new book with it and have it read an audio book to you.
Very good, Melissa. I think I'll do that. Thank you very much.
Yay, congratulations. That's really cool. Does
It
anybody have
pays
any
to
other
come to
questions?
TMUG special interest groups.
It does, literally.
It does. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you. This was great. I'm going to go to bed now.
Brain's full. Till.
Good night.
Well, thank you, everybody.
And
I'm
don't
going
forget to ask
to
your HomePod to play soothing rain sounds when you're sleeping.
Right.
I'm going to save the chat, and I'll send it off to you, Susan Clement.
Good.
Thank you, Susan, for doing that. I always appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
yeah.
Now, where did you put it?
What's that?
That's the
remember
question.
when you do it, you gotta click show in Finder right away before it goes away.
Oh, my goodness.
It goes to, like on mine, it goes to my iCloud Drive, Documents, Zoom,
Show and
and
Finder.
then
There
the
it
folder.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
Got
We'll
it?
send it off to you, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Well, I think this worked out pretty well.
I do too. It's great.
Well,
Yeah.
And we are open to other special interest group
Topics.
meeting topics. If you
We did
have
have
a
one just on Siri, actually.
Other
if you have
SIGs,
a
yeah.
topic that you think, well, not everybody's going to want to hear about this, but I would like to hear about this,
Mm.
then let us know. That's where we're going to pick our SIG topics from. Is
Hey, how about one on how to get Roger to buy everybody free HomePods?
Hey, there we go.
now, did you say 3 HomePods?
Yep.
I'll take 2.
I had to tell Kurt something really quick.
Go ahead.
So,
We're
Kurt,
all listening.
this came in the mail today,
Yeah.
and I tried it out. It's pretty cool. It doesn't hamper it much at all. Like if you're trying to dot an I, for example, that's a little tricky. But other than that, it's so much quieter on the glass instead of like tapping. So
Is that the cover one?
yes.
No, it's a little silicone cover for the end of the pen.
Oh.
They actually sell colored nibs that you could buy also that have a silicone tip on it.
Right, and this thing is soft so that it
Right.
gives just a little bit of drag on the glass instead of skidding around like ice, so.
Yeah, and I put it on there pretty tight, so it's not coming off very easily, which is
But they said the actual piece that you put that on. So I found on Amazon one day somebody sells them. It's a replacement nib that the tip of it is softer silicone, so it doesn't have that feeling on the glass.
Right.
Yeah, it just goes right in my. And this is not an Apple Pencil. This is a knockoff, one of those styluses.
Well, I'm interested to see that it fits. That was the question, so.
Yes, it does. So thank you
great.
so much.
Okay.
And then I used this today.
Did you really?
But I'm not sending you the picture because what I used it for was to get a splinter out of Nate's paw.
What is it?
I thought you would enjoy that. It's this really cool thing Kurt gave me. It's like a telescope.
It's like a microscope.
A microscope. The other direction. A microscope, yeah.
And the image comes onto your phone.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it lights up. It connects with Wi-Fi, and then the pictures. So yeah, it's kind of gross with the things you could take pictures
Okay,
of.
well,
But,
either Melissa or Kurt, send me a link to that because I think that needs to go in the
show notes.
Holiday, not the show notes, but the holiday gift guide for the fall.
Okay.
What's it called?
I forget because I
So do
actually
I.
just downloaded the app. I can tell you what the app is called. It's something weird. It's called MaxSee. It's MAX-SEE. That's the name of the map of the app, and the Wi-Fi signal that it puts out is called MaxSee. So I would look that up.
Yeah, it's called the MaxSee microscope.
Yeah.
They're
Okay.
not
I haven't tried it
expensive
by
at all.
plugging. Yeah, I haven't tried plugging it into the computer. I've only done it with the Wi-Fi thing, but That was fun.
Oh, that looks like a nice toy to get.
It is, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. Kurt knows the toys we like.
Yeah, Bob, I'll send you the link to it.
Okay. Thank you. And thank you all for joining us this evening.
That was
And
fun.
have
Oh,
a-
Yes, thank you.
One thing, Bob, for the next TMUG meeting, I may not be going there. I have a business meeting that night with somebody that's flying in from out of town
Oh,
Bring them along.
on May 17th.
pick up the drugs.
What we're going to do
It's
without
actually
you.
one of my client. Yeah, no, it's a long story, but it's for one of my clients.
Okay.
Did
Okay.
we decide we're getting together over at Reed Park or something?
We're shelving that because
Oh.
during the last meeting, when we asked for a show of hands, we only got 4 hands.
Oh.
Okay.
So we'll kind of revisit that probably after monsoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you
Good
all.
night, folks.
Good
That was
night.
fun.
Your HomePod.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
I
Bye-bye.